Welcome back to some more F1 25 My Team guys on the channel. We are here for round 2, the Chinese Grand Prix. Now we are fresh off the back of round 1, Australia, Hulkenberg's debut for the team. Of course, he is hot property right now in real life. Absolutely unreal podium that he got yesterday, and yeah, the positive feedback was insane from the last episode already.
Hey, me again. Got another question for you.
Now, we begin with a corporate facility event, and we have to set up a new social media program. Now, we can either expand or refresh. The expand is basically a complete reconstruction, and it has a higher cost, but it's a job well done, and we have cash to burn, so we are going to expand properly and not refresh, our social media program. Now, I have some updates for you guys, and the first one is going to be the race suit. I had these mods actually ready for round 1, but there was a bit of a niggle with the mods, and I wasn't quite able to get them ready on the actual game for Australia. But you can see new gloves, new suit, new boots, looking the part. And I've also seen your comments, I've seen your feedback from episode 1, and some of you didn't really like the giant red X4 MiG on the side pod. Personally, I liked it. I like a bit of red on the livery, but I've heard the feedback and we're going to basically adjust. So I'm going to leave the red as a secondary, minor, smaller sponsor on the halo, on the end plate, on the front wing, but the main one, title sponsor on the side pod, will be in black. And to be fair, it actually does suit the car really well, and I do agree that it's going to fit in a lot better. So give me your thoughts down below. Slightly revised livery moving forward, and I think this one ticks all the boxes. And with that, we can jump into today's episode, which we are now debuting as Franco Colapinto. We of course done our debut as Hulkenberg last episode, and a man who in real life is flying with that podium. Colapinto right now is struggling, so we're going to try and hopefully give him a hand in this game. Now you can see, activity-wise, we don't have enough time to apply the owner training, which is something we did last episode, so that will take place in the next video. For now, all we can do is a fan outreach to basically improve our fan rating. So with that out of the way, we're going to quickly delve into upgrades for today's episode. Now, we're going to start out with research, and we're going to go for front wing, specifically the end plates, because we have 2 of those ready to go. And I was going to pair it with another one for the rear downfalls, but it's a bit too expensive. We don't quite have enough resource points to research that right now. It's a diffuser, so we're going to leave that for another day. Instead, we're going to go to the cylinder head and improve our engine power. We have enough points for this one. It's fairly cheap, so likely a minor upgrade, but still we're going to do that and get that research done and hopefully improve the car. Now, we also have some developments to look into. Now, for this one, we are going to receive the side pod profile on the aerodynamics. We've got the DRS working away in the background. We had a double failure on the rear floor under tray for weight reduction, so we're going to have to get that on the car for the next episode. Hopefully it arrives for Japan. And also we are going to work on some fuel efficiency on the engine side of things. So with that out of the way, we have a quick update on the corporate department. We've received merchandising department level 2, and we're now going to finalize phase 2 in terms, phase 1 actually, of the facility improvements. So we're going to go for secondary sponsor team, which basically increases our income from secondary sponsors by 10%. So we're now all the way into the phase 2 facility improvements on corporate. As we skip ahead, not a lot to really get done on the timeline. Very short turnaround between round 1 and round 2. And yeah, we're going to jump straight in to today's episode. Now, I mentioned before, Hulkenberg, last time out. Now it's time for Franco Colapinto. And based off the last couple of races IRL, if there is going to be a driver rating update in-game via patch, it's likely Hulkenberg will get a nice boost, but Colapinto might drop. Anyway, here's the new race gear. You can see it's not just the race suits, also we have new t-shirts. I can't lie, very simple. I cleaned up, repackaged and reused the assets from F1 24 that we had in our My Team there, fitting to the current My Team with X4 MiG as our title sponsor. And to be fair, I love how they turned out. The little touch of white is a bit fresh, something different. And yeah, this weekend, sprint weekend at China, no rain forecast. You can see Hulkenberg already has 6 points from round 1 in Australia. Excellent weekend. Could have got P6 on the last lap with Hamilton very close. If you haven't seen it again, go watch the video, guys. It was an intense, wet race all the way through with an intermediate gamble at the end. But we're going to jump into practice here at China. Now, as always, setup, feel free to copy and paste. We're going to run, the preset that has already been allocated for us, but we're going to basically just tweak the wings, as always, transmission, brakes and tires, and we're going to delve into practice programs. Now, we start out with the race simulations on the hard compound tire. By the way, side note, COLAPINTO'S helmet is beautiful. And again, I love Hulkenberg and COLAPINTO'S helmets. They look so good with our car. Now, we've got Paul Aaron and Yuki Tsunoda having a bit of a race preview, a bit of an on-track scrap. And we have George Russell right behind. And this is going to be a preview of the race, as we're going to actually go for this. And we're going to be 3 wide in practice, heading down towards the hairpin. We go quickest in the speed trap. I'm sure George just beat us. We go through the middle and actually come out in front of the pair of the drivers each side of us. But you can see here, nice little replay of the action here in FP1. Through the middle we go. Nice little view of the revised livery there from the off-board shot. And we do manage to, get ahead of those two. But eventually, George was knocking on the door. He was way too quick, and we just had to let him go. Well, I thought, that wasn't the case, but we locked up terribly into the hairpin. Also, George is on soft tyres, so much more grip for him to find. And yeah, we're going to finish our race runs with not the most accurate data, but we'll bear that in mind for the sprint and also for the race. If we have to run a bit more fuel to account for those kind of incidents. Anyway, bit of a lock up, and I'm struggling with the balance a little bit in that hairpin. This time doing the ERS management, same set of tyres as our race program because we don't have enough tyres to go around. And then I put on my only set of softs for the qualifying sim, but this was literally impossible to beat. We was just under half a second heading into the chicane banking combo for sector 3, but then down the straight we just bled time for free. It was ridiculous. So I'm not even going to finish it. There's no point. We're just going to waste the engine, waste tyres, waste time, period. So I actually just go straight on here, and we're going to box and call it quits on that one because we're nowhere near beating the time delta. So not for the first time, but struggling to hit that quali sim time target. Either way, race data, tyre wear looks really good. 0.94%. Fuel burn also excellent, by the way. 48 kg, that's less than 50. That's absolutely awesome to see, and you can see the data there from the ERS management also looking very good. Practice finishes, Hulkenberg in P12 on soft tyres. We finished P18 on the hard compound tyre. So yeah, 33.7 for Hulk. We'll see how he gets on this weekend as an AI. For us though, it's an okay start. 450 R&D points as Colapinto, and yeah, slow and steady wins the race. One race at a time. We'll get faster and we'll get better. Either way, that's it for practice, intro, updates. We're now going to jump into the first part here of the sprint shootout weekend.
Well, here we go again. Welcome back to Shanghai. Welcome back to qualifying in China. And this is a technical, tricky track. Whoever takes pole is going to deserve it.
Now, as always, we are running the short qualifying format. We're going to burn a set of mediums on our first shootout run to basically get a feel for the conditions, the low fuel, and just get a banker lap really, because we only have one set of softs. That's the case for everyone, I believe, not just myself. So some people are going out early, some people going out late, some people trying to do 2 laps on their tyres. We do a 131.4 banker. Hulkenberg, though, down in P21, 133.7, more or less matching his practice time. So a bit disappointing and a bit slow from our teammate. Hopefully, though, he steps it up. Either way, we're going to delve into our final run. Soft tyres on. I'll let you guys enjoy the lap, and we'll see what we can do with basically a one and done. Just jumping in, soft tyres, low fuel, full send here in the shootout. I think that's pretty decent. P9, very solid lap. I still love how good the car looks, by the way. It's absolutely insane how sexy she is. I really am happy with how the livery has turned out with the subtle bit of modding to make everything come together. Verstappen, though, is on your sprint pole. We get P9, and to be fair, that's pretty decent. We had a snap of calls on the lap. It wasn't perfect out of turn 2, turn 3, and also the hairpin wasn't great, but I don't know those 2/10 there. It would have been really close with Gasly for P8. Hulkenberg, though, P18. 32.0 does improve in the end by quite a bit, but still quite a way off our pace. So it seems like the AI drivers are just a bit slow compared to the player. Either way, qualifying done for the sprint. It's now time for the actual sprint race.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Shanghai International Circuit then is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests the driver's patience, and the flat open to the element's location tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Norris, Charles Leclerc, and Antonelli. Hamilton, Gasly, Colapinto, and Esteban Ocon. Piastri, Lawson, Lance Stroll, Doohan, Albon, Behrman, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Nico Hulkenberg. Crawford, Hadjar, Pepe Marti, and Paul Aaron completes the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. And so, we welcome you to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this race, and it's going to be some race, is Anthony Davidson. So, a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
Right, here we go then. Time for the sprint. The first race of the Chinese Grand Prix weekend. I can't lie, the car looks sexy. Big shout out to you guys for the recommendation to replace the Formig logo on the side pod. Also, the teamwear is looking crisp. I love the presentation, and today I want to try and get a good result in that. So, this one is going to be pretty straightforward. Of course, the sprint doesn't involve pit stops. So, P9 start. One more place to gain. If we're in the top 8, we score points. So really, our main goal here is to beat Pierre Gasly, who's to our right. You can't quite see him, but he's right there in the Alpine. Now, you can tell the tyre upgrades over the last season have worked compared to this time last year. It's a simple, medium sprint race. For the fuel, we're going to go 0.2. I think we'll burn through a little bit of fuel. I don't think the race data is going to be fully accurate from the race simulations because of the traffic. I'm actually going to just up it to 0.3 just to be safe. But generally speaking, we're feeling good. We're looking good. But let's see if we can try and hopefully get COLAPINTO'S first points. Right then, here we go. Trying to get some temperature in the tyres has been fairly difficult, but luckily, I was made aware on my sprint shootout lap that it was quite difficult, so I started trying to get the temperature up very early. But here we go. Let's line her up and let's have some fun. I can't wait. I think it should be a fun race. Here we go. The Chinese Grand Prix sprint race. Here we go. Lights on. And we're off. Good start. But we do get boxed in. Nowhere to go. Ocon having a look down the inside here. We're just stuck on the outside. Just got to make sure we try and defend this position. We're going to open up the line a little bit to tighten things up through turn 3. Pierre will just get in front, but we defend our position. Down the inside. It's a cautious move on Hamilton. I was planning to get Gasly there, but Lewis slow into the hairpin as we head into the fast left-hander. We sweep around and get Lewis around the outside for P7. And that is a lovely move. We've got some tube wide action up ahead. Looks like a Red Bull and a Merc, George Russell potentially versus Yuki Tsunoda. My God, that was a massive brake check. That was complete evasive action there, avoiding a huge crash with Antonelli. We actually almost accidentally passed him, but we'll take it because we've actually put him on the back foot. It seems like our wings were a bit high. We're not that quick on a straight. Into the hairpin, let's be a bit more cautious under braking here. Note to self, tried to lower the wings for the second part of the weekend for the normal qualifying and the main race. Either way, good first lap. Let's try and stick with this pack. Hamilton's really close. I think he might just go here. I'm not going to fight this too hard. I think it's important that we try and be smart with our racecraft. I'll stick with these guys. We are a little bit slow. We don't have the sort of pace the top guys have, so we need to bear that in mind. Ocon battling, or sorry, Gasly actually battling, so he's dropping back even more. Ocon's hanging onto the back of us here. I do think this could be a race where some patience is required. Verstappen, Russell have got away, Tsunoda now also getting away, and there's now a huge scrap here ahead between Antonelli, Norris and Leclerc, which is going to bring us back into play, but already the podium's gone, so we're looking at fighting for the top 4 today. Ocon's pretty close. Let's see if we could try and keep him behind. We should be able to. I've still got DRS. They're battling in front again. This battle looks set to continue for quite a while, so as long as we stay in contact, we might be able to do something later. Ooh, that might cost me DRS. They're not battling ahead, so I think we're going to get dropped here, which is unfortunate. So we're going to be defending this final points paying position versus Esteban Ocon for the rest of this sprint, but the faster cars have gotten away, so there's nothing we can do now. Here goes Ocon. I'm going to try and defend this down the inside. A bit of contact there. Didn't really have a ton of room on the inside. I, tried to make the apex. Right, I'm going to let Ocon go this time. No point trying to battle too hard. Piastri's catching, so we don't really want that. He probably will catch up though. He's going to be too quick for us. Ooh, Ocon with a slide. First signs of tyre wear for him. The AI is still absolutely destroying me through the banking. Just like last season, Piastri is on my rear end. So we're going to be trying to hold on here. The AI just get too much of a gap through the banker for me to even challenge down to the hairpin, which is really not ideal. I wonder if I should just go back through and try and maybe defend from the front. It's not easy though. Even out the last corner they accelerate enough that I can't close in. Oh, yellow. Piastri.
Green flag.
No, not Piastri. I think it might have been Gasly just behind. I heard an engine rev. Someone might have just spun it on the power. Not mechanical though. Oh my god, Piastri's got a 10-second pen. Wait, no, it is Piastri. The delta's broken, I think. Piastri's at the hairpin. Wow, he just held up everyone at the hairpin. Whatever happened, it was Piastri. I didn't even properly check. Trying to stick with Ocon here, who's trying to drop me, but yeah, Piastri spun it. Wow. Okay, well that's now a straight fight between Ocon and myself to try and get this final point. So let's focus on the Frenchman. Gasly's out. Wow. Insane sequence. I have to watch that back. Right, I want to try and manage this situation from the front. I don't trust getting close to Ocon for the back straight. That wasn't the best last call, and I got some dirty air, but we're going to try and go through here. He doesn't defend the inside, so we'll go through. A little bit wide of myself. Struggling on the front left now for grip. But we'll go all the way around the outside and pick up P8 again from Archon. So now, we try and pull away as much as possible before the back straight, but that won't be easy. Ollie Behrman out as well, another retirement. Big middle sector hit. Ollie's DNF means there's a yellow on the straight, so Archon should not be able to overtake in principle unless it clears. So let's see.
Caution.
We enter the yellow flag zone. Verstappen wins the sprint. Does that neutralise?
The track is clear, green flag.
It just went green. Oh my god, incredible timing, but we defend the inside enough. Archon had to manage his straight line speed, and there we go. We should be home and dry to bring home a point. So Colapinto breaks his duck in Formula 1.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Right, there we go. Sprint finished, P8 and a point for Franco Colapinto. When I mean breaks his duck, I mean break his duck in this career mode universe. You know, technically speaking, he's an F2 2024 driver. So, you know what I mean. Anyway, Verstappen wins the sprint. Russell actually comfortable P2. Tsunoda could not get close. And actually, Antonelli nearly caught Tsunoda. So Mercedes looking quite a bit stronger here today. Both Ferraris in the points, Lando as well. And then we've got, outside the points, of course, everybody else. Hulkenberg down in P19. Partly irrelevant because of the Piastri situation. He also got 10 seconds himself, so we'll have to see what happened. But I'm guessing he also got involved and unfortunately got tangled up. So I want to see more from Nico in now the main qualifying and the main race.
Well, here we go again. Welcome back to Shanghai. Welcome back to qualifying in China. And this is a technical, tricky track. Whoever takes pole is going to deserve it.
Now, first things first, based off the sprint shootout and also the sprint race, we are going to lower our wings, as you can see, by a click apiece. We'll see how that translates and we'll see how the car holds up. For now, though, we have two sets of soft tyres for this qualifying session, so we're going to get 2 hot laps. This is the first one, and we're going to delve straight in. Now, you want to try and keep it a bit tight all the way through turn 1. This is technically turn 2 and this is technically turn 3. Again, keep it tight and then now open it up on the exit as you get your battery on. Switch it off and now straight down brake into turn 5, brake at the 100-meter board, 3rd gear, just clip the inside curb to rotate the car subtly and then easy on the throttle. Battery being used as we now let go of the battery and keep it pinned through turn 6 into turn 7. Important to get really tight here to open turn 8. This also will open up turn 9. Important traction zone here. Little bit of a correction there as we get the battery on again. Now spot the 100 on the curb, brake down to 3rd gear, flick it left, flick it right. Little short shift on the way through to keep the back end stable. And again here, very important to try and stay as tight as possible. A little bit of oversteer as we push, a line to the inside a bit too much. The car screaming a bit for help as we use all of our battery down the back straight, DRS open, and now you're looking for the 100. You want to brake just before, down to 3rd gear. We get it just about right there, just about made our apex as we flick the car in. Good traction on the way out, and now the final corner. Important to attack this inside curb, probably way more than I did there. Don't run too wide, the car bottoms out. Over the line we go, and it's 1 minute 30.5, and that's P4, which is not bad at all, to be fair. Granted, others did set times, others improved, and we dropped to P10. Hulkenberg currently P15, and to be fair, that's better pace from Hulkenberg compared to the shootout. He's gone half a second quicker already, and currently a second between us. But we're now going to delve into our final qualifying lap of the weekend, so let's see if we can improve some more. Well, there we go, P11. We didn't actually gain any positions on that last lap. We started at P11 and finished there, so that improvement basically meant nothing, and there was still over a tenth to the next car. So not much to really add. Best lap of the weekend. It felt absolutely brilliant. Car felt hooked up, but we just seem to lack a bit of pace around here, and that just seems to be the bottom line. Hulkenberg also a little bit off the pace. Also went slightly quicker on his final run, 31.4, but yeah, 1.2 seconds between us, P11 and P16 respectively. But yeah, clearly we are a little bit on the slower side around here, as also the sprint shootout and the sprint confirmed. However, there is one big question to be asked. Is that wing going to help? The lower wing, will that be the difference maker? I guess we're about to find out. Russell on pole by some margin as we delve into the Chinese Grand Prix.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. A race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3 mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Antonelli, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Piastri, Albon, Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda, Colapinto, Stroll, Liam Lawson, Doohan, Hulkenberg, Bortoletto, Pepe Marti, Paul Aaron, Hadjar, Crawford, Gasly and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. Well, we welcome you to the broadcast. It's going to be some race today. First of all, introductions. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one, Anthony Davidson. Well, it's an excellent sprint yesterday, but we're back to the usual format now. How do they continue what they started?
Absolutely. You know, they're at one with their car. You could see that in the sprint. That's why they were successful there. And you've got to carry that through into this race today. And in a way, we've had a snapshot as well of what this driver's capable of.
Right, here we go. Time for the main event. P11 on the grid, and this time we are just outside the points. Now, to be fair, my qualifying lap felt really, really good. I felt like there was nothing left on the table, really, and we put it together really well. So I think we're very marginal for pace around here. I think if we get a point, I'll be happy, because it seems like we're not that quick. In the sprint, Ocon was quicker than me. We were struggling, but we managed it well. This is a longer race, and it might be more difficult. Pit stops come into effect. Speaking of which, we're starting on the hard tyre. Going for a one-stop, medium in the second stint. I feel like the top 10 will likely go for mediums to start. That's my prediction, so we might be a bit of an outsider. I am running that lower wing that I mentioned before, so one less front wing, one less rear wing compared to the sprint. So we might struggle in the corners a bit more, but hopefully on the straight we're a bit more competitive. If I feel like we need to, we'll go up on the wing of the pit stop and make the car turn a bit more on the front. For the fuel, the sprint was fine, so we are going to go back down to our typical 0.2 range and manage throughout the race. So let's get to it. No rain forecast. Let's try and get a point. I'll take a point right now. Anyway, let's go. This tyre is an absolute brick, but I've just about managed to get the temps that I need, so I'm happy with the formation lap. Now, usually the hard tyre has traditionally been a better race tyre for me, so I'm hoping that's the case, especially in the second half of the stint. But let's see. Right, let's see. Tyre selection, interesting. Lights on. A little bit too high on the revs, but we still get a reasonable start. A bit of a slow down ahead as we head into turn one. Albon on the hard tyres as well. That's one that we can look to work with, battle with, or get ahead of. We're going to get Tsunoda here inside of turn 3. Oh, Hamilton off track. He was on the hard tyres, but not sure what happened to him exactly, but we're going to use that to try and get Albon as well. And straight away, we move into the top 8. Good start again. Hamilton rejoins. We've got a Haas at the back, who also had an issue. Oh my god. No front end grip. Loads of understeer. Dirty air as well. That's one thing that I don't really suffer with, but we certainly do, especially in this middle sector. Got some battling ahead, so Verstappen, I assume Verstappen anyway, P1 is getting away, and it's the 2 Mercedes boys going at it. Having a little browse around the outside of Esteban Ocon there, but didn't quite work out. Right, let's see. Straight line speed. Let's see if the lower wing is a bit better for performance. That looks a bit better. That does look a bit better. Actually challenging Ocon, and we're going to just go around the outside, extend the braking zone, and clean around the outside. What a first lap on the hard compound tyres. And actually we've got a few more hard runners than I thought. So both Ferraris went for the hards. Of course, Hamilton now out the picture.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
Ocon having a look. I'll leave space, but we're going to just hang it on the inside. Naturally, he'll get ran out of road. The Mercs were on the hard tyre as well. Ocon still having a look. Fair play. Caught me by surprise there. I thought I had that locked down, but he's not giving it up. So we're going to have to also fight this. Just releasing the brake into turn 5. And there we go. Right. As I was saying, Leclerc and both Mercedes on hard. So only Piastri really is the outlier here. Not sure what tyre Norris and Verstappen have out front, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Oh, Tsunoda's gone through on Ocon. That's good. That'll take the pressure off. To be fair, Yuki will be very quick on the medium. I don't think I'll be able to stop him at the moment anyway. Let's make sure we stay within Piastri and Leclerc's DRS. That's target number 1. As I was saying, I think the hard tyre just suits me better. We seem to have better pace and all-round performance on this one. So this first stint will be critical for our race. But there we go, we have managed to stay in DRS. This is fine so far. Tsunoda's having a look. I'm not going to let him know. At least not make it easy, but he's got so much more grip than me. Down the inside he goes. Side by side. Just like with Piastri and Leclerc ahead. I think I'll wave a white flag on this one. I'll let Yuki go tactically. Not my fight, at least not right now. Yuki's getting stuck in straight away here, so yeah, he'll be quick. Just going to try and follow all these battles for as long as possible. Those mediums in a couple of laps will start to fade, and we'll have the upper hand, and we should be able to hang on to them a bit easier. I'm actually really happy with this wing adjustment. We are much, much stronger now. Just a simple one click down, front and the rear wing, but it's making us more complete and stronger. I think pairing that with the hard tyre has been a great combo. So I think we're a lot stronger in this one, and I potentially think we can opt for more than just fighting for P10 if things go our way.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Right then, we've dropped Ocon out of DRS. That's absolutely massive, so we'll start to now build a cushion. Ocon should start to drop back to his teammate potentially. But this is a way of us now solidifying and locking in the top 8 finish. Just by sticking with these guys and pulling away in DRS. Oh, bit of a wobble there. We might lose DRS on Piastri. That's going to be close, I think. Really close. Either way, I'm just struggling to hold on. Do we get it? Oh wow, we just did. Okay, I think this time we lost it. Wasn't able to stay in, so we're now going to be on our own. We've got a nice margin over Ocon, so we should be able to manage throughout the rest of this stint. So let's keep at it. So Hamilton has now appeared in P10. He's going to be our rival for the rest of this race. Likely on the same strap. I'm trying to manage my fuel a little bit because now we don't have DRS. I'm actually burning a little bit, so we'll save some of the pit stops. But if I were to go flat out, I'd probably drive into the negative, so I'm lifting and coasting at certain points. But we're racing Hamilton here to the end of the race, to the finish. Right, Piastri in. So the pit stop phase is now going to begin. Those are mediums.
We're looking afraid. Watch out for jams and misgears.
Wow, okay. Our gearbox isn't worn, to my knowledge. 18%, but we might be missing gears. Okay, now that's going to make things very complicated. Verstappen has already pit and rejoined behind on fresh hard tyres, so he'll be onto the back of us very soon. At the minute, all the gears seem to be there. And just like that, Max has already arrived. I am struggling for pace a little bit right now, but to be fair, we're still opening a gap to Ocon, so looking okay. The pain we take on this stint will be nicely repaid on the next one. Verstappen tried to go through on the banking there, but didn't work out. We'll let him go, and I'll just use him for slipstream to make sure we gain a bit of top speed, and also a little bit of DRS on the pit straight. And after that, we'll lose him. So let's see. Tsunoda in. I believe Norris is also in the pit lane, so everyone eventually making their stops. A few hard runners, I think, still staying out.
Push now, we're boxing this lap.
Right. Might go one more, we'll see.
Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive.
Oh. Gearbox. Failure. Gone. I think. We haven't had one of those in so long. Actually, what's the last mechanical that we've had driving? Was it here last season? And were we chasing Piastri? Am I having flashbacks? Was it this race? Exact same scenario, chasing Piastri, we have a mechanical. This time the gearbox goes, but that's going to be the end of our race. Brutal.
He has left the entire field behind once more. It's victory for Max Verstappen.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
Well, another edition of the podcast is complete. We wander from the cool-down room to celebrate things on the podium. Max Verstappen has been here before. Another win in Formula One.
So, results confirmed. Let's talk about the points finishers and also break it all down. So Verstappen wins by 3 seconds over George Russell. George was very quick today. Mercedes looked strong this weekend. Leclerc gets on the podium ahead of Tsunoda, Antonelli, Norris. Hamilton recovers and finishes P7 ahead of Piastri. So that's the pace Lewis had. Fast up at the Rob Grand Prix as well, so he was very rapid, and of course he was the guy we were trying to race, and it would have been close. Either way, worst case scenario, we should have finished P9. Instead, that went to Ocon, and Albon worked his way into the points. So, let's quickly confirm. DNF for Colapinto, Bortoletto also DNF'd. Hulkenberg finishes P15 in the end. And a little bit disappointing, really, weekend in general from Hulkenberg. I expected more, really, for a driver of his caliber, stats-wise. And, on a, you know, just fresh off the podium in real life, I thought he'd do better. Fingers crossed, he might get a nice little bump to his driver stats very soon in the patch because of that podium. So that could be pretty tasty and pretty effective for us to get some good results. But yeah, looks like we have work to do, and that does mean we go to the standings. Colapinto did get, of course, the point in the sprint, so we still are off the mark with him, and both drivers now have points. Verstappen, so far, I believe, flawless this season. Both wins and the sprint win so far, so maximum 58 points for him. In the Constructors, we're still P5, and that's going to be the target in the short term, I think. The top 4 are just too quick and too far away, and we need more to try and beat them. So for now, the target is to just beat Aston, beat Williams, Alpine and Co, and hope that's going to be enough for the moment. So there, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. As always, leave a like on the video, subscribe on screen now. You're going to have the post-race from that one, which won't be great. I think we might take a bit of a hit. The fan rating should still grow because we did get points in the sprint, but we might take a bit of a hit in terms of fan bonuses, sentiment, and just general feedback. But either way, should be good. In the meantime, guys, I'd massively appreciate if you check out the 2 videos on screen in a moment. Also, a big shout out to the channel members for supporting the video, the content, and the channel. Also, guys, check out my Discord server, link down below. We've recently revamped it, so feel free to join and become a member. But yeah, cheers for watching, guys. Take care, and it's goodbye from me. Ciao, ciao.